This is Katie. Katie lives with her two loving parents and her brother. Katie's dad is a doctor and her mom is a teacher. They are considered upper middle class. Katie and her brother play with a variety of toys like Legos and trucks. At her friend's house, Katie plays with kitchenettes and dolls.
A study in 1975 shows that girls and boys are treated differently from birth, creating traditional gender roles. Katie's friends fall victim to this through the toys they play with.
Katie is in first grade at a diverse public school. In her math class, the students have to complete a sheet of multiplication problems in under a minute. Katie and her friends all did well on this.
Studies show in elementary school, boys and girls are equally likely to be interested in science. 66% of girls and 68% of boys reported liking science. While this interest in science exists amongst girls and boys, there is still a lacking number of role models and exposure to STEM careers that disproportionately affects different races of girls. Katie is 9 to 13% more likely to be exposed to STEM as opposed to her African American and Hispanic peers.
Katie now attends middle school. She still finds math fun and is enrolled in advanced math classes. She found a club called Girls Who Code, which encourages girls to explore coding and provides a supportive environment to keep girls interested in computer science. Katie was really interested in this club and asked all of her friends to join it with her, but didn't end up joining because her friends were afraid of what the boys would think of them if they joined.
By eighth grade, boys are twice as interested in STEM fields as girls due to the stereotypes that STEM fields are typically male dominated while humanities are primarily female fields.
Only 10% of girls are encouraged to think about engineering by their parents. 54% of Caucasian parents approve of their daughter pursuing STEM careers, whereas only 38% of African American parents do.
Katie is starting high school. Because she still likes math and science, Katie decides to take AP Computer Science and AP Physics. In her AP Physics class, Katie is one of 2 girls out of 20 students, and her teacher is a man with very traditional values. Katie does well in physics, but feels very isolated and struggles with the fact that her teacher doesn't believe in her ability to do well in physics because of her gender. In AP Computer Science, she, along with 2 of her friends, are the only girls in a class of 15, and the teacher is a woman in her mid-20s. Katie and her friends all enjoy the class and feel comfortable there because their teacher is encouraging to everyone in the class, creating an open atmosphere.
Although 54% of AP test takers in 2012 were female, only 19% of that group took the computer science AP exam. This shows a large discrepancy in the number of young girls who pursue computer science even at young ages. Having role models like Katie's computer science teacher may help to bridge this gap by encouraging young women to pursue STEM fields.
When the summer rolled by, Katie found interest in some coding camps hosted by the University of Michigan. She begged her parents to let her go, and although it was a bit pricey, her parents could afford it. Thanks to her parents' financial abilities, Katie was able to spend her whole summer surrounded by other friends who loved to code. Unfortunately, some of her friends from school who also wanted to attend could not because their parents could not afford such summer camps. Katie is so excited to finally attend her dream school, the University of Michigan. The summer before attending college, Katie decided to join a learning community called WISE, Women in Science and Engineering. Here, Katie found support from living with other women who are also pursuing STEM careers. She takes a class with all of them that helps her learn about things that women typically struggle with in STEM careers. Katie is in the College of Engineering and plans to declare her major as computer science. Katie is enrolled into an intro to coding class and does fairly poorly on her first exam. She decides to go to office hours, where her professor tries to console her by saying, "I've never had a girl pass this class." Yes, this actually happened at Michigan. Because of this, Katie decides not to pursue computer science and instead switches her major to environmental engineering.
While Katie had the support of WISE, many of her friends did not. Along with this, research shows that negative encounters with faculty disproportionately affect female students over male students. A reference to gender stereotypes, even one as subtle as taking the test in a room of mostly men, can adversely affect a girl's performance.
Because of this negative atmosphere, one of Katie's friends decided not to pursue STEM. Katie decided to pursue environmental engineering instead, a field that has a better representation of women. Studies show that computer science is only comprised of 19% women, while environmental engineering is comprised of 40% women.
Katie graduates college and receives her degree in environmental engineering. She received good grades during her schooling and graduated debt-free because her parents paid for her education.
While Katie received remarkably good grades, most of her friends received B's. These grades are sufficient, but studies show that women often perceive B's as inadequate, which causes them to drop out, while men with C's tend to persist in the class. Katie was also very lucky to come out of college debt-free. One of Katie's friends was not as lucky and had to drop out during her junior year because financial aid was no longer enough to keep her enrolled.
Soon after college, Katie was able to find a job dealing with her degree. A few years later, Katie gets married and has a child. Katie tried to go back to work after having the baby, but because her husband wasn't willing to take any time off of work, and because she felt guilty going back to her job when she was a new mother, Katie decided to stay home.
In Halving the Doubleday, Cowell explained that many women with careers have double workdays. After a long day of work, they come home to take care of the children and the house without the help of their husbands. Along with this, women with STEM degrees are twice as likely to leave a STEM job as men with comparable STEM degrees. And unfortunately, Katie fell victim to this.